Clouds made of cotton candy, trees like loaves of bread, roads paved with jelly beans. No one ever has to wash their hair. Houses glow in the dark. Bubbles aren't wet when they pop. Bees buzz but don't sting. Everyone has the pet of their dreams. Things don't break or fall apart. No one is ever mean. Everything is nice and sweet, the kind of place you never leave. Rise and shine. Time to wake up. You don't want to be late for school. Did you hear me? Wake up. Huh? What? Oh, okay, I'm up. Oh no, it was just a dream. I wanted to live in my poem forever. As children, we're natural visionaries and dreamers. Do you remember dreaming about how many kids, cars, or pets you'd have? I'm sure you remember being asked who you wanted to be when you grew up. How many of us became that doctor, lawyer, engineer, teacher, dancer, artist? But there can also be a dark side, different kinds of dreams. Some children might dream of becoming a showgirl, drug dealer, gang member. Others may simply dream to get out. That was me. I dreamt of getting out of Arkansas. Truth be told, I don't know how I made it out without a kid or two. I don't say that to shame or blame anyone else. I'm saying I know exactly what my story could have been. My dream gained some definition in high school when I considered being a college basketball player. I was a tenacious player and loved to play defense, the type that was proud to come off the bench. Unfortunately, multiple dislocations of my right shoulder led to surgery. And soon after I started playing again, my left shoulder started dislocating. The threat of more pain, injury, and another surgery made me too scared to play. But I didn't want to abandon my team. So I gave myself another role. I sat the coach down and told her about it. I hung flyers in the locker room. I let each of my teammates know that although I wouldn't be playing anymore, I would still be around as a motivational therapist. Never mind you, I didn't know much about therapy or motivation for that matter. But I do recall watching a psychologist on a talk show after school, Dr. Phil. Thankfully, I performed well academically. I was voted most likely to succeed and earned scholarships to attend Jackson State University, a historically Black institution, where I majored in psychology and then pursued my doctorate in clinical psychology. The dream expanded. I wanted to become a funded academic researcher. I can't tell you how shocked I was when I landed a postdoctoral fellowship at Columbia University, one of the most prestigious and well-resourced institutions in the world. How could I say no? The dream was unfolding in real time. Imagine a wide-eyed, ambitious, young Black mother and wife from the Deep South standing in the bright lights of New York City. I was ready to hit the ground running, ready to make my mark. But my body said, bitch, please. I hit the ground all right, but I couldn't run. Hell, some days I could barely move. My body was no longer reliable. My life became riddled with mysterious aches and pains. I was devastated. My dreams were shattered. My marriage wasn't going well. The fallout from the divorce cost me the religious community that had once received me. I experienced massive amounts of mommy guilt, especially when hugs from my little one felt excruciating. I was utterly defeated. Nothing was the same. Everything I knew about myself and my life had changed. Now, getting a diagnosis, that was an adventure in itself. And the relief it offered was short-lived. The verdict, fibromyalgia. Technically, fibromyalgia is a chronic and invisible condition that causes widespread pain, sleep problems, fatigue, emotional and mental distress, affecting 4 million adults in the US. But on these streets, it's the disease that is and isn't. It's a catch-all diagnosis used with medical tests Don't look that abnormal, but you're sick as hell. Early in my career, I was very curious about how people who lived with chronic and terminal illnesses engaged with their pain. How some of these folks could take their greatest pain and turn it into a catalyst for growth. I've since developed a framework that not only fosters resilience, the ability to bounce back quickly to a prior level of well being, but also moves folks beyond resilience and into post traumatic growth. Post traumatic growth refers to positive byproducts and life changes that folks might experience in the aftermath of adversity. You've likely heard people talking about it when they describe feeling wiser, stronger, more spiritual, closer to others, having more appreciation for life because of their pain. When it comes to the intersecting realities of Black and Brown folks, post traumatic growth takes on additional meaning. What happens when there's constant bouncing due to repeated injustice, inequity, and violence? And let's face it, folks are tired of being told to be resilient without changes made to the systems that keep perpetuating the need for all of this resilience. So as we keep fighting for change, we can also help folks cultivate post-traumatic growth, especially now in the face of repeated global crises, unpredictable environmental conditions, and daily confrontation with shattered collective dreams. Research shows that folks who are able to experience post-traumatic growth don't shy away from difficult thoughts and emotions that they have. They deliberately dive into them. See, in order to recover from shattered dreams, you got to reconfigure everything, starting with who we think we are, what we think we can do, and how we can ever experience joy again. If you find yourself shattered, know that you can be made whole. You can move from the life you knew and create a different one. For instance, because living with pain made follow through difficult, I developed a phobia of planning and could not tolerate the words goals or priorities. So instead, I envisioned that my tasks were small, mini dreams that I could make come true that day. And I created a practice of bringing small dreams to life. This type of deliberate, practical engagement with pain is what my team and I help folks do in my private practice. It's not an easy journey, yet there's plenty of evidence to show that it's possible, my life included. I no longer need any medications for pain. I have more energy than I thought would ever be possible again. And I've created a life that I absolutely love. Now, if I were your therapist, here are a few things we do to cultivate post-traumatic growth. Honor your needs and limitations. Practice acceptance of what you can do in the moment because you've got to start somewhere. Be compassionately curious about your emotions. They're signals that something needs attention. Once we tune in, the emotions can subside and we can put our energy towards solving the underlying problems. Explore different healing systems. You never know what mix of tools and practices might help you feel your best. And lean into supportive relationships. Look, I know it's tough and it's tempting to hide because of guilt and shame, but let folks help you. Contrary to popular belief, when we can give folks specific requests that are aligned with their strengths, they actually feel more confident in helping and they know that we'll be pleased. Be reflective. Ask yourself tough questions. Marinate on them. Be willing to evaluate the effectiveness of everything you believe, think, and do. Dare to ask yourself the question, what can I do with the pieces of my shattered dreams? Tap into your innate capacity to dream. You don't have to wake up from your dream of a meaningful and satisfying life. Dare to live the dream. Let's live the dream that no matter what devastates us, our lives are not merely characterized as before and after. Let's live the dream of post-traumatic growth as we journey from before, after, to better than ever.